the next topic is Russian and American contribution to science and engineering. So, we presented the facts and the questions in chronological order, and I think one of the interesting things is the order in which the inventions appear. Because personally I was surprised when I discovered that a dishwasher was invented earlier than an electric bulb. So, I've dropped a hint to you, but the first question is general. What everyday devices do we use due to Russian and American scientists and engineers? It happens to be nearly everything we have around us have been invented, either the Russians or the Americans. So, just every device deserves a point.
Lights.
Electric bulb. Who was it invented by?
Edison.
Edison didn't invent it, yeah, he just implemented the ideas. Yeah, it has been accepted around the world. So, Yablachkov and Ladygin. Right, we're going to discuss it later. Yeah, just name the objects that we see around us.
Here.
Yeah, just tell me an object and tell me whether it was invented by the Russians or the Americans. So?
Is the telephone a British person? Was the telephone a British person? I feel like
Neither British, neither American nor Russian. So forget about telephone. We can only talk about mobile phone. Mobile phone.
Russian
Invention. It's the Russian invention. Yeah. Yeah. It's the Russian. Agiev and Leonid Kupriyanovich. Yes, the Russian. It happened in 1954, and our Soviet government had this connection during the Second World War, and it was a top secret.
Whoa.
And only when the Jewish people, Jewish engineers, were allowed to emigrate, the United States, 20 years later, reinvented it due to our experts. So, well, I wanted this first question. Television. Who invented television? Zvorykin. Yeah, Vladimir Zvorykin, the Russian invention. Any other? Radio. Yeah, the technical term for radio is a wireless receiver. Can you translate it? To receive means what? And wireless, беспроводной. Да, wireless receiver or radio. It's Alexander Popov.
Yes.
True. Right? Any other?
What about the Tesla coil?
Mhm.
Tesla coil?
But that's a scientific
But it's used
achievement. It isn't an invention.
But it's okay.
It's an no. Okay.
What's the name of
Tesla was rather a scientist
Yeah.
than an engineer.
What's the name of the instrument of the? I don't know.
No, there was a priority clash between Popov and Marconi.
Okay.
But in fact, Marconi reported and patented this invention 2 years later, after Alexander Popov, who worked for the St. Petersburg University in Russia, gave a talk at the conference, and well, the documents are available.
Wow.
So, yeah, there was a priority clash for a long time, and the issue was debated. Yeah, but now there is no doubt about it.
As I remember, the first, how to say, reasons for like a telegraph and something like this were established in America.
You shouldn't confuse inventing something and implementing it. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. Yeah, they are the two sides of the coin, I would say. It's very important to think of a new idea, but it's equally important making this idea available to the people. And in this respect, I would say we complement each other. I mean, the Americans and the Russians. Right? What does complement mean? Complement. Дополнять. We complement each other. The Russians are good at coming up with new ideas in scientific research, and the Americans are good at making practical use of new ideas.
And what was just said?
What?
The microwave.
Microwave, right? Who was it invented by?
I don't know.
Yeah, but by the Americans or the Russians?
Probably the Russians.
No! The Americans! All right. The microwave, what about other
That
things?
does seem like
Washing machine.
Washing machine. It was invented by the Americans, right?
Copy machine. Copy machine.
Copier. Oh, really? We haven't got it on our list, and I have no idea who it was invented by. Japanese?
No, I don't think
Is it Russian?
American
No.
company Xerox.
Oh yeah.
Xerox.
Xerox.
Yeah, Xerox.
Duet, American.
American? Is it American? Or Japanese?
No.
I'm not sure.
I think it's American
That
because
time.
Xerox.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, very important invention, especially for those who teach languages. Yes. How could we do without copying? I wonder how the previous generations of teachers managed without this wonderful invention. Any other things?
Dishwashing machine.
Dishwasher.
American.
Yeah, it's American. Go on. Let's.
One more complicated thing like laser disc. Of course, it was implemented in America, but some Russian scientists.
I'm glad you remember, and I can tell you who. Prokhorov and Basov. They are the Nobel Prize winners for inventing lasers and mazes that allow us to have, hi-fi systems with laser discs, and information can be kept and received with the help of laser discs on the computers. We're going to talk about it later if we have the time. But any other things?
No, not much of it.
Vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner. Yeah, what's the American word for vacuum cleaner? Hoover. Do you use the word vacuum cleaner?
It's like an old word. Hoover's like an old word, and now we
Alright.
just say like vacuum.
Simply a vacuum.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. A reduced version. I see. Any other things?
Computer.
A computer. Very good. And if we talk about everyday objects, it's a personal computer, mostly, right? Generally speaking, computer. So I think it's a fruit of mutual efforts of different scientists, but the Americans finalized this project. So, right?
One technique Henry Ford developed it.
I was looking forward to hearing.
His facility is конвейерная техnology. I don't know how
Yeah.
to spell it in English, but
Do you remember? It's called the assembly line. Assembly line, which allows mass production of objects. Assembly line. Right. Any other?
Sewing machine.
Sewing machine. What's a sewing machine? Yeah, you can make clothes with the help of the sewing machine. Швейная машинка.
Nuclear bomb. Very interesting thing.
Do you think it's an everyday object? I hope it is. No way. So, any other? So, by the way, you've named virtually everything except everything that is made of rubber. What does rubber mean? Rubber. You couldn't make shoes without rubber soles. You couldn't make tires, car tires without rubber. And this was invented, artificial rubber was invented by Lebedev, who also lived and worked in St. Petersburg, worked for St. Petersburg University, because before him, caoutchouc, I don't know the English word, was produced or was from trees, was taken from trees.
Is it also rubber?
Caoutchouc.
Is
Caoutchouc.
it like tar?
Yeah,
Okay.
как смола, да, tar,
Like
это
really
смола.
thick and sticky?
That's
Tar,
right.
yeah.
And it isn't produced,
No, it's like
it's natural, yeah, from the trees.
From the trees or it comes, yeah.
All right, so I think we have actually covered all the topics, and I don't see.
Have to watch some pictures. And
Yeah, let's watch some
questions.
pictures and remember the names. So who improved the sewing machine? Because the sewing machine was produced by the French, British, and American inventors. Zinger. And where in St. Petersburg, the headquarters of this company located? Nevsky Prospect, and what is it now? It houses the House of Books. It houses. What does house mean? Размещает.
Not all of them.
Not
All
all.
of them.
Yeah.
So,
Singer aided, so he made the presser, the table, and the food pedal. Yeah.
I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I've got one in my country house. Just an item of furniture to decorate the
It
interior.
used to be in every family. Yeah. The Singer.
It could feed the whole family. It could feed the whole family. Прокормите.
All right.
So what is it?
Is it a what?
Washing machine?
Washing machine.
Yeah, the first one, the mechanical one. Do you
So
know the name?
Isaac Zinger made his final invention in 1851. The washing machine was invented by James King in 1851, and Elva Fisher, also American, improved this washing machine in
That's James King, just
1908.
a moment. That's James King, and that's the mechanical. That's Elva Fisher. And so it.
I suspected it to be
Yeah,
a woman.
And then a machine with a drive, yeah, because the first one was mechanical one.
Then, what device helps you to keep your flat clean? Oh no, it isn't.
Посудомойка.
Your hands, young and beautiful, as well as save time and water.
A dishwasher.
Dishwasher. That's a dishwasher.
And that's the inventor. A woman?
Wow.
Yeah, Josephine.
Josephine Cochrane.
Oh, very good.
Cochrane, yeah. Which year?
Just
87 or 1896.
I've got 1855, but it makes no difference. They know the name, and the person is what matters here most. What device helps you to keep your flat clean?
Vacuum.
Vacuum.
Yay.
And the
That's
American
the
inventor.
first street vacuum cleaner, yeah?
Yeah,
That's what it looks
the
like.
first use
And you
was
made
to
how
clean
huge
the
it was?
streets, not the houses.
Yeah, and that's a home.
Oh my
Vacuum
god.
cleaner.
Yeah.
Rather huge and not very.
And this is Daniel
No,
Hess.
No, I don't
No.
have a picture, I'm afraid.
Daniel Hess, and when did it happen? When was
I
it?
have MacGuffin, no. I have MacGuffin.
1860, according to our information.
Yeah, but we haven't got the.
When was the electric light bulb invented?
Recently.
Oh, sorry.
Lavigin.
Yes, and you mentioned
He
some of them.
established the Lavigin Russian Electricity Company and had this invention patented in many European countries such as Britain, France, Italy, Spain, Belgium, Portugal, Sweden and others. And then Pavel Yablочков invented the electric candle. Yeah, the electric candle. And that happened later.
Yeah.
But
And
that's Thomas Edison, who started his company and who tried a different material to produce the filament for this lamp. It's very unusual. What is it? No? Bamboo. Yeah, he used bamboo to light the streets in the United States. And later other materials that were a lot sturdier were introduced, more durable were introduced. Then, when was the first wireless receiver invented? Who by? We have already discussed it.
Can you repeat?
Yes. Alexander
That's
Popov.
his picture.
And what were the first two words that he sent by cable? It was called cable in those days, or telegram.
I don't know.
That was these words.
He showed his respect to the previous generation of the research workers. Henry Hertz. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Henry Hertz. Uh-huh.
And
Henry
that's the first
Hertz.
wireless. That's Popov's. Isn't it amazing?
Would you recognize it?
If you were not told.
So, and how did Henry Ford manage to reduce the time for making a car from 12 hours and 28 minutes to 1 hour and 33 minutes? Amazing, isn't it?
This is Henry.
As the legend,
Legend.
it was his wife.
Really?
No, like a joke.
So, can you repeat the invention? Do you remember?
Assembly line.
Assembly line and what?
I'm sorry.
That's right. So he actually combined standardization, because previously the cars were made by highly qualified people, and they had to be trained for a long time before they could actually produce a car, and the process was very slow. And it took a long time to produce one car. And the genius of Henry Ford helped to divide the manufacturing process into single operations that didn't require any qualified staff. Nearly everybody could come to work on the assembly line, and in 1 hour and 33 minutes a car was produced. Then it was filled up with gasoline and driven off, ready for the road.
Yes, and that's the 50 millionth Ford. And Henry Ford himself.
And there's a popular joke, I think you remember about him, that only black cars were available in Henry Ford's time, and he used to say that a customer can have any color so long as it's black. То есть клиент может получить машину любого цвета, если этот цвет черный. So, the next one. When was television invented? 1929. 29.
And can you
And that was,
of the inventor?
yeah,
This
right,
is his
memorized.
picture of him? Vladimir Zworykin.
Yeah, and he belonged to the wave, the first wave of immigrants from Russia after the October coup. and he started a company, and after his talk he was invited to work in numerous universities, including the USSR. Yeah, so he chose to stay in the United States and was granted plenty of awards.
Yeah,
So
that's what the first TV.
he worked in
Very funny.
Pittsburgh. All right. I think it takes too long. So, who was the first mobile phone invented by? That's him. Dmitry Agheyev. I've told you the story, and that happened in 1935. 35. He invented mobile communication, and the device was
That's the device itself, and that's Leonid.
was created by Leonid Kuprianovich, and he designed it in 1957. Who was, what kitchen device helps to warm up or cook food? Microwave. Who was the videotape recorder invented by? Videotape recorder. It was one of the marvels during Perestroika, I think.
Sorry,
Most
that's
of us.
Spencer who invented the microwave.
Microwave.
Percy Spencer.
Долго. Почему-то долго. А быстрее нет?
Ну, можно я же паузу
А не надо паузу, не надо. Вперед. So
that's the man.
that's Alexander Ponitov. He also emigrated from Russia after the Second World
That's the first.
War, and he made his invention in 1956. The American Space Agency NASA used his invention, and he founded his own company called Ampex and was the leading producer of VCRs around the world. And he also invented the slow motion playback device, which enabled fans to watch the most exciting match episodes in slow motion. What does it mean? Замедленный показ, замедленный показ. I did ballroom dancing, and it was equally important for us to play back slowly, just to copy the movements of dances, of top dancers. And he also invented video clips and remote control. And video clips, the technology of producing video clips. So it's next to impossible to imagine the modern world without them, right? And he established the physics department in Stanford University.
What's the next one?
So why do both Russian and American people take pride in Igor Sikorsky? So he also belonged to the first wave of the Russian emigration. Let me give you some figures.
Самая крупная американская компания.
It's the...
Вертолетная.
Sikorsky designed 17 American planes, 18 American helicopters, and his company produces 9 out of 10 helicopters in the world until these days.
That's the modern one. The previous one was Русский Витязь and Young Hornets.
And these two planes took part in the First World War. Русский Витязь. So, and this is Pyotr Ufimtsev.
Yes.
Pyotr Ufimtsev. So, one of the most powerful American inventions in military weapons is called stealth LO. engineer, Peter Ufimtsev. And he decided to leave for the United States, to leave Russia for the United States, because the Russian Minister of Defense chose to implement a different invention based on a different principle. And the idea of his invention is making spacecrafts invisible for radars, and not only spaceships, but personnel. It can make costumes that can make people invisible or nearly invisible to radar, infrared, sonar, and other detection methods. So he still lives and works in the United States.
It's the first one. Stealth F-117, the most famous.
It was not hard for him to escape. Into America.
Okay, now it's my part.
That's right.
So dear friends, now let's speak a little about computer technologies. So the first question is, what was the first electronic programmed computer made in 1945 called? And so who contributed to this area? The first electronic programmed computer. And you can see these people, and you can see that machine.
They are not Russian, absolutely.
Yes, they are not Russian. They don't
No other regions.
They are American. They come from America, so maybe Piper could help us. No, she can't. So, all right, I'll have to do the job for you. So it's called ENIAC. ENIAC. So Electronic Numeral Integrated Computer. It was designed by John Eckert and John Mauchly. Yeah. So and this machine was like a two-story building. Yeah, the same height, and it weighed 30 tons. And can you imagine, there were so many wires that all of them made up 10,000 kilometers. So, and when this machine worked, so there was blackout, so it took so much power, so there was blackout in the pump. All right, but it was the first one, so, and what about Russian scientists, so Russian so experts who tried to do the same?
It was a very close race creating electronic
yeah, that
machines.
Was 1945 ENIAC, and so this man, Isaac Brook. So Isaac Brook, so he did it much a little bit later, just a couple of years later, 1948. So Isaac Brook and his assistant Bashir Ramiev. So they also made the first electronic computer
programmed computer.
Yeah. So, and by the way, they did it on the 4th of December in 1948, and this day is considered to be the Computer Studies Day in Russia. So, and they had it patent, so it was one of the first Soviet patents. So it also looked quite huge and
bulky,
but so it was a great achievement
for the time.
All right, so and the next question. Who is to be considered the cybernetics father?
What is it? What?
Sorry?
Come on with glasses.
Well, it's a very famous name.
Cybernetics. Yeah, kybernetics.
Wiener, Norbert Wiener.
Norbert Wiener, that's right. So he was an American mathematician and philosopher, so he created the science of communication and automatic control systems, not only for machines, but for living beings as well. What about the Russian cybernetics father? Do you know the name? Do you happen to know the name? So unfortunately, I suppose you can't know his name because it was the time of the Cold War and the Iron Curtain. So
Russian spy.
no, he wasn't a spy. He was a very popular and very famous engineer. You should know his name, Anatoly Kitov. Kitov, yeah. Anatoly Ivanovich Kitov. So he wrote the book Electronic Digital Computers, and all software developers and all IT experts in Russia used this book so to begin their career and to study computer science. So, and he also laid the foundation of the internet, but I'll tell about it a little later. But the most important achievement was creating so computers computer M100, it was the most, the fast operating, the fastest operating computer at that time. Can you imagine? Its speed was 100,000 operations per second. Can you imagine? It was the fastest computer in the world. Yeah. So, Kitov, yeah, we'll remember him again today. So, and just a moment.
So what is a PC?
Yeah.
Who introduced his name, this name, and what was the first PC called, and when did it happen?
Yeah, and there is a prompt, if you happen to know this. So PC, what is PC? Just,
Personal computer.
And what is it? Sorry?
Steve Jobs.
And his friend.
Also
Steve Wozniak.
Wozniak, yes, that's right. Well, do you know the year?
I think it was in 1917.
76.
But very close, very close.
Yeah, a point to.
And what was the date?
I don't remember the name, I just remember the date.
What it looks like? Apple. Apple, yeah. The second. So, but actually they were not the first. So we should mention the name of Arseniy Gorokhov. So it's a Russian computer scientist. So and he also. Why are you laughing?
There's a small difference.
Difference in what?
In computer.
No, it's not that. I'll show you, and you will see that they look the same. It was the same PC, so it had all necessary elements. So it had a system unit with a hard
The
disk,
architecture of the computer.
motherboard, all elements,
Yeah.
everything except a mouse. So
But
it
that's
was the same.
but he made this personal computer in 1968, and Wozniak and Steve Jobs did it in 1976. That's a way of
Yeah.
difference.
But again, because of certain problems and Cold War and Iron Curtain, so they didn't know about it. So have a look. It looks even more modern.
And
than
the
Apple.
experts who worked in the advanced technologies in the Soviet Union, the names were not revealed to the public, and they worked in top secret.
So what was the first network
I like this
in the
picture
world?
a lot.
What was the first network in the world called, and when did it happen? And these days considered to be the Internet Day, the birth of Internet. Where and when was it set up? Well, you can imagine it's a team of experts from which university, maybe Parker, you know?
Stanford, Harvard.
California
California.
University. Yeah, it happened in 1969. So, and what was the first word which they tried to forward? Yeah, what was the first word, and to which university did they try to forward it? So it was California and Stanford University. The distance was quite considerable, 640 kilometers. So, and on the 29th of October in 1969, they tried to forward a very famous word which all of you use now.
Включиться,
When
как
you
бы,
try to
включиться к
enter
чему-то.
some
Включиться.
Login.
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 Oh.
But unfortunately, they managed to pass only 3 symbols. Log. That's how log appeared. Yeah. And then there was disconnection, deactivation. In
Remember the
some
log
over-
houses
Yeah.
that our people lived in.
Sometime later it was resumed, and so they managed to forward it successfully. But again, because of top secret, and we already mentioned, Kitov was the first to put forward the idea of creating the national common user network. So that's the idea of internet. And he gave a talk about it in 1959, so 10 years before ARPANET team from California University did it. But it was top secret, and of course the top authorities from the government, they could not allow people
To publish their
to
works
publish their
and the
works.
results of their work.
Yeah, and to let them to let computers control their activities. And moreover, Kitov criticized the Ministry of Defense authorities. So he was dismissed from the party, from his position. So, and of course, all his ideas to control economy and to control the armed forces failed. But he was the first, remember, 10 years before the
Before.
ARPANET team from California University. All right, and now, so the last question. Can you name any Nobel Prize winners for the development in computer science? Some of them have been mentioned today. And Yelena Viktorovna mentioned, so if you were attentive, you could win a point now. Nobel Prize winners for development in computer science. Some of them are American, some of them are Russian.
You shouldn't. Alfyorov, yeah.
Yes,
The
very
Russian
good.
physicist who lives in St. Petersburg and who is still alive. Alfyorov.
2000 Nobel Prize winner, he was awarded it, yeah? For what? For development of, in which field?
I can't remember exactly, but it was not, it's like a physical invention in laser technology.
Laser technology.
Laser
No, that was
different.
different. Different people were involved in it. I've just told you. Basov and Prokhorov,
Yeah, and
who
here-
were the Nobel Prize winners for laser and maser technologies. But Alfyorov
Well, I mean,
did a research into semiconductors.
Yeah.
This is the major material that modern computers are made of.
Optoelectronics, for high-speed optoelectronics, yeah?
Yeah, and we forgot to ask about the modern material that the new generation of computers will be based upon. Веселов и Гейм и Новоселов. Graphene. Invented graphene, and they also are the Nobel Prize winners. And it's going to, the new computers will be built not on semiconductors, but on graphene. I don't know the English. Graphene.
Something of the kind. Yeah, but first let me tell
They're
you.
quite young. They are in their 40s, I suppose.
All right, now let me tell you
Although
about...
there is a joke that to be a Nobel Prize winner, you should live long before humankind appreciates your input into science and engineering.
Okay, but as for American scientists, so that's John Bardeen, Walter Bratton, and William Bradford Shockley were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1956. And they were considered to be inventors of, so they were the first to discover transistors, yeah? Transistor network. Here you can see the circuit. So, and they did it in 1948, but they got the Nobel Prize in 1956. But, again, because of all the problems and all difficult relationships between the countries, so our Russian scientist, Vadim Loshkarev, a Soviet scientist, did it 7 years before them, and unfortunately, because of all these problems, he was not awarded. But he was the first to discover the transistors effect, and it was a great breakthrough in computer technologies because one transistor could replace 40 tubes, 40 vacuum tubes, 40 электронных lamp, yeah? So, and of course, these computers were cheaper, faster, and smaller. So, and Vadim Loshkarev so deserves. So because transistors, it's a great
Our
thing.
admiration.
Yeah, our admiration, and so that's a circuit of transistor. That's a circuit of transistor. And Yelena mentioned today that's Basov. Nikolai Basov and Alexander Prokhorov were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1964. They designed quantum generator. Here you can see it. Quantum generator amplifiers called masers, and that's a laser, kind of a laser, and of course fiber optic communication became possible due to them. So a lot of fiber communication lines were set up, yeah. So we have fast internet due to them. That's
And
right.
It is used in medicine as well, optoelectronica.
And I suppose, yes, and we mentioned this man, that's Jaroslav Alfyorov, yeah? And of course he did, he did a lot, and he invented, so he developed